Let's get to Dave Hall, our prospect guru, who is joining us now, and he's got a lot of updates for us because there's been a lot of stuff going on in prospect land. Dave, thanks for waiting patiently for us. I know we had to talk Archer Sealoves, which I know you like doing. How happy are you for Archer Sealoves, a guy you've covered a lot, finding some success at the NHL level so far?
Well, first off, thanks for having me. And I just got to say, I can just see the glimmer in your eye talking about goalies. So it's nice to see Quads. But yeah, I love it. I'm fully agree with Harm that I think he's fully deserved a shot at next game. And it's more so, a lot of people are like, oh yeah, he's beat the Ducks and the Arizona Coyotes. That's great. But I agree that he should now be given the shot to go at the higher club. So let's just see what happens. I'm happy for him.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. We saw what happened when someone touched Jonathan Lekkerimäki in front of Elias Pettersson. And obviously, he went after him, showed a little camaraderie there. We like to see that. But other than that, what have you seen from the two newest prospects out in Abbotsford?
Well, that's what we've seen, at least from Elias Pettersson. Like, I don't want to put this label on him too early, but I just don't see a world where he's not a fan favorite if he's not already over in Abbotsford. He comes over 6'4" body, and he's just already just slid right in, and he doesn't look out of place. We already kind of touched on in previous times that I was on where I thought that the smaller ice might actually cater to his transition even more so because of just his, meat and potatoes, just aggressive demeanor. And so far it has. They don't count hits in the AHL, but he's got to be tracking upwards of 10 already in his 3 games. It's just he's slid right in. He's closing gaps well. He's not giving the forwards any day, and even when he's not delivering big hits, he's still just being a jerk out there and delivering little cheap shots in the backs. And overall, it's just been a really impressive performance. Early in the first couple games, we saw a few instances where he was beat a little bit to the side and was caught chasing a little bit, but that was more so in the first couple games, and even since then, he's cleaned that up. And one thing that I don't want people to sleep on is his ability to produce offense too. Like, I don't anticipate him to be an offensive contributor, but if you haven't seen his assists from last night, his first point, it's the perfect example of what I was talking about. He's got really good awareness. And before that puck even gets to him at the blue line, he's already looking towards Tristan Nielsen for that cross ice pass, and he just delivers it perfectly. So expect the bulliness and the big assertive defenseman, but don't sleep on his ability to make those passes too. And as for Lekkerimäki, it's been like when you're looking at his stat sheet, yes, 0 points in 4 games. It's not great, but when you're watching the games, it's actually been a lot better of a transition than anticipated. Yes, he's not scoring goals, but it's not for a lack of not trying. He's getting shots off. He's getting opportunities. He made a beautiful saucer pass to Max Hassan last night to spring him on a breakaway, and they're just not going in for him. So yes, the offense isn't there, but what we were so worried about him transitioning for, aka his size, whether he could withstand, the rigors of facing AHL defensemen, he's looked right at home. He's almost playing a little too timid, and it's not a bad thing because he's being super defensively responsible. He's winning puck battles. He's got good puck protection, and so overall, it's been a really impressive transition. Yes, we want the goals and the assists to happen, but overall, I think it's been a pretty solid start.
Okay, so Aatu Räty is on a heater right now. What can you tell us about that?
Yeah, I mean, he's got 17 points in 14 games, so he's over a 2-point clip over his last 7 games. So yeah, he's firing. And what I really like about his heater is it's not just before he was getting a lot of secondary assists, and he's still getting secondary assists. But what I really like is the goals that he's scoring. He's known for his two-way and passing ability, but he's been showing that once he gets that time to put that shot off, he's releasing them like crazy, and he's getting some snipes out there. So that's one thing I've liked. And overall, I mean, Colleton, now that everyone's getting kind of fully healthy and they're getting bodies back, they've been putting the band back together with him, Sasson, and Carlson. And as a trio, we saw this back in November and December. As a trio, these three, they just have it figured out. They just work off each other so well. And so that's really helped. In their transition and kind of jump-starting Räty going through.
The Canucks recently signed Ty Mueller to an ESC. What have you seen from him this season? I know that you've been a fan of what he's accomplished as a prospect this year.
Yeah, I have been a fan, and I do just want to reiterate that I talk about him a lot, and I think he's a really good prospect. And it's not so much that I think he's going to be this, extravagant NHL producer, but I just think that based on where he went last year and some of the questions that a lot of people, including myself, had on, this scouting staff for drafting him a double overager, a 20-year-old in the 4th round, there were some questions going in. And so right off the bat, when I first started watching him this season, the first thing that kind of intrigued me was his motor. He's always moving. He's a good skater. He's just constantly moving his feet, and he's willing to play that two-way game. So that's what originally brought me in. But what even got me even what kind of really brought me in was he's got nasty hands, and he's got this really underrated shot where he can all of a sudden just blast this one-timer out of nowhere. And so, in terms of transition this year, I'm not anticipating too much. If he makes it into a game, I'm anticipating a little bit of a, bottom 6 role. But unlike someone like, let's say, Aiden McDonough, who came in as a polished 23-year-old goal scorer, somewhat one-dimensional, who had a really tough transition in his first couple months. Ty Mueller, he maybe not the goal scorer that McDonough is, but he's way more well-versed in he's versatile, and he can kind of play that all-around game. So overall, I like the way he plays. He's got a good motor and just a solid two-way player.
Canucks Conversation is live Monday through Friday, every weekday at 2 p.m. over on the Canucks Army YouTube channel. Make sure you like, subscribe, and interact in the YouTube live chat every day with us, folks.